Well, we've all been waiting for the distinguished Senator Ali Ndume for that promised conversation around the many taxes of the Tinubu administration and what form of outlook they may have in store for life and living in Nigeria. Within the pretty short time that we have, we also intend to take him up on a range of other national issues. Distinguished Senator, it's a pleasure to have you on the morning show. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. It's a pleasure to have you too.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks for joining us on the morning show. All right, we'll dive straight into it, sir. Yes, sir. Please go on. Go on, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
No, I say I'm happy that it's you, not Rufai or Ruben.
Oh, what do you have against those fine gentlemen? They're good. They're fine professionals, and they do their jobs very, very well, as you know.
Yeah, I agree with that, but the only difference is whenever they bring me here, instead of interviewing me, they interrogate me. That's only. If not, they are wonderful. They are one of the greatest journalists we have in this country.
Absolutely, you can say that again. All right, but I mean, take it from us, we won't interrogate you, we will interview you, and it will be a nice conversation. And I think we should start on what many Nigerians will consider as a good note, given the fact that the media is reporting this morning that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has directed the CBN to suspend the implementation of the Cybersecurity Levy, which, as you know, has caused a lot of uproar within the polity. My question to you, sir, will be, what are your thoughts on this? Because the president has said a review will be necessary because he's listening to the people. What was your understanding of that act that you were part of, is passing? What was your understanding of it? And now that the president has said suspend it, let's review. What are your thoughts around that decision by the president?
First of all, let me say that what the president did, that is by calling for the suspension or directing that the cybersecurity levy should be suspended, is something that I expected from him, because I know him for a very long time. I know him to be a listening person, and I know him to be a responsive and reactive person. So I'm not surprised that he immediately ordered that should be suspended. That is the first thing. Secondly, it's good that the president has now acted, and we'll go back to the drawing table to look at the act again. When this administration came on board, the first issue that needed to be addressed is the issue of cybercrime. And it's part of the purpose of government as outlined in Section 14.2 of our Constitution, that the purpose of government is security and welfare of its citizens. And cybercrime is part of a security, very important one. So that's why the government was in a hurry to look at the law, enabling law, which was signed in 2015, and then a kind of strengthen it and give more powers to the institutions charged with that responsibility to ensure efficiency and to address the serious cybercrime, which is ravaging this country, spoiling our reputation and name because of the incessant and increased cyber crime going on in Nigeria. But I would add to say quickly that we are in a hurry. And so we were not able to look at the nitty-gritty of the issue until the CBN made that announcement. And also, they didn't look at it very well. And you see the reaction of Nigerians was not good. Of course, it is expected because going through this, looking at the situation we find ourselves with a lot of burden on the common man and the low-income persons, it is not the intent of this government to add another burden on the poor, the middle class especially, and the low-income earners or Nigerians in general. So I still want to commend the president for that, and as I said, I was expecting him to do that. But I also want to urge Nigerians to agree with this government that this cybercrime issue is something that needs to be critically, the laws need to be critically upgraded. But let me add here again that there was a lot of, I was looking at the law after the outcry by Nigerians and discovered that honestly there are some lapses here and there that need to be addressed. For example, the levy is supposed to be 0.5% of value of the electronic transaction. But the law did not clearly state who is going to take responsibility. And that's why Nigerians are worried. Although the CBN circular, as I looked at it, section 44.2 clearly indicates the institutions or the businesses that is supposed to take on bear the cost of the levy. It specifically said GSM service providers and all telecommunication companies, 2 internet service providers, bank and other financial institutions, insurance companies, Nigerian Stock Exchange. But it failed to actually and clearly state who is going to take that burden. Is it these mentioned institutions as part of their operational cost, or is it going to be levy that will be paid by individuals? I think that is one area. Even though they went ahead in the circular to list out some organizations that are exempted. That I saw I think it was reported by Tribune or so, that in that levy, exemption is made to loan disbursement and repayments, salary payments, intra-account transfers, intra-bank transfers between customers of the bank, other financial institutions, instruction to their correspondent banks, interbank placements, bank transfers to CBN and vice versa, interbranch transfers within banks, check clearing and settlement, letters of credit, banks recapitalization related funding, savings and deposits including long-term investments, government social welfare programs, payments, non-profit and charitable transactions, educational institution transactions, and finally, transactions involving banks' internal accounts. So if you look at that, that means actually the ordinary Nigeria is not affected or is not going to be responsible for the payment of the levy, but the institutions earlier listed, 5.
Well, yeah, correct, Senator Ali Ndume. Thank you again for joining us on the show. But earlier you said that, the government was in a hurry to implement, actions that will tackle cybersecurity. Now, you as a senator, were you not part of those senators that passed that Cybersecurity Act? And how was it? Isn't it an indictment on the senators when such humongous, activities like a Cybercrime Act is passed and you guys are not able to critically look at those sections in the Act?
Okay, now your colleague promised to interview me, not to interrogate me, but you want to start interrogating me.
It's just a question.
Lawmaking is not only. No, that was not a question, it's an interrogation. But anyway, I will answer the interrogation. You see, lawmaking, as I said, I confessed initially that we are in a hurry to put across a law. But it's not the only senators that you hold responsible for such a snag. I am not a lawyer, for example, or most of us are not lawyers, but we are lawmakers. And there is a process. That process allows the public, during the public hearing, to look at the nitty-gritty of the law and make the necessary observations. I was thinking that any public or any Nigerian that is interested is given the opportunity to look at the law in progress before the president signs it into law. And not only that, even after passing the law, the National Assembly clerk normally transmits that to Mr. President. Why I say there was in a bit of hurry, in hurry to have this very important bill amended and signed into law was because of the situation Nigeria finds itself in the cyber arena, cyber crime arena. So I accept the responsibility that the National Assembly innocently were in hurry to have that law to enable the government effect and to secure our cyber environment, to enhance cyber security. So I don't think it's any way of indictment, but a kind of, as I said, snag in the nitty-gritty of the law. Like I told you, the president brought the amendment in December, and we wanted to get it out so that it will start working. I think it was transmitted on the 27th or 26th of February. And the president signed on to it, I think, on the 28th. So you can see that both of us were in hurry, the presidency or the executive, let's say. But the normal thing is that after sending it to the National Assembly, to the president for his accent, he will normally look at it critically again before he accents to it. But as I said, I give you an example. And it's because we felt that there is the need, and the fact that the law has been there since 2015, I think there were about 10 or 9 amendments or 11 at most that were done to the 2015. This levy has been there since 2015, and I would now ask you, as the person asking me this question, why were you since 2015 that you didn't raise an issue on that law until the CBN said, oh, banks go and implement it? So let us not be throwing blames. Let us look at the law itself and then find solution to the problems or the issues that are identified in the law. I think that will be better going forward than saying, is it not an indictment on the National Assembly and all that?
Senator Ndume, thank you so much for that answer. And continuing with your interview and your interrogation, yes, you are right. The clerk did transmit it on the 27th of February. The president signed on the 28th. The Senate passed it, although on the 21st of December, the previous year. And so I'm assuming now that it was an executive bill that was presented to the Senate. I'm wondering, what was the pressure? What exactly put you in a hurry in the Senate to pass the bill? The Senate passed it in December 21st. On the 14th of February the following year, about 6 weeks later, after you returned from break, the House of Reps also assented to this, and then House of Reps also passed the bill, and the president assented to it. Now this, the memorandum of explanation, it's only about 7 pages, so I would say compared to the 2015 bulk act, which is much bigger, I would say that this only 7 pages does not seem like a lot to go to in detail on. And the levy obviously was previously not being enforced. It's currently being enforced. I want to ask, why now? Why are the lawmakers going back on something they just passed? Why is the president saying the CBN should not put into effect a levy that an executive bill just put forward less than 6 months ago? Why this sudden change of heart from our legislators and from the presidency on the levy?
No, the levy, as I said, was there from up initial. That is when the bill was enacted in 2015. But as I said, there was no clarity, or there is kind of ambiguity as to who is going to bear the burden or who is going to pay the levy until the CBN directive was made public. And in that too, as I said, is subject to interpretation, because I listed out about 16 exemptions from the levy, which clearly takes out the ordinary Nigerians or Nigerians that make their transactions through the various financial institutions. But then, as you rightly observe, there are some issues, and there will always be issues when laws are made. That is why laws are amended from time to time. As I said, I was not eagle-eyed on the nitty-gritty. But even now, I discovered that Section 42 of that act is one of the confusing clause that was corrected. It says that transactions on businesses, that was the old act. But in the new one, it says business. And then the business as in second schedule of the law was not clearly stated. What I want to end up this question with is that there is nothing like in hurry, there is nothing like saying that going back and forth. The government is supposed to be responsive. When this idea came up and it was announced, Nigerians came out to disagree with the government. The president, being responsive and reactive enough, quickly said, put this thing on hold and let's look at it again. So what I'm expecting from you is now to go back to the law, and thank God the amendment is just 6 pages, to critically look at it and come forward with a suggestion to what is acceptable. The good thing is all Nigerians, the public, the government, the legislators have all agreed that we have cybersecurity issues that is, spoiling the country's name. So let's look at it and get the best out of it. So I'm expecting you to even look at the law yourself. And then my doors are open, then you send your recommendation as to what needs to be done. Since we have all agreed that there is a need to strengthen the cyber crime Prohibition and Prevention Act of 2015. So that's now the chance to suggest which best way to go.
All right. All right, distinguished Senator, I can assure you that we too are also looking at the nitty-gritty of this law. But now that the president has called for a review... Yes, sir. Please go on. Yeah. So I'm saying that now that the president has called for a review... What in specific terms will you want, now that you have a second chance to take a look at it, what in specific terms would you want amended or modified in this very contentious policy? And then secondly, so that you can take it with it, is almost 1 year into the administration of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Your party is in government, but there's a lot of, hue and cry out there. You yourself said in reaction to this policy that you can't be loading taxes on people when you are not increasing their source of income. May the 1st came, there was no specific word from the president on new minimum wage. What is your assessment of the type of burden that Nigerians have been confronting since May 29, 2023? And how do you think that improvement can come in the next 1 year of this administration?
Thank you very much. Let me take the first one. Now that the president have done what he's supposed to do in terms of this Cybercrime Prohibition and Prevention Act, the door is now open to all Nigerians, not only the lawmakers, to look at the law critically or look at the nitty-gritty. And I'm happy you say you too, you are going to look at it from your end. And the amendment is not much. I think it's about 11 or 10. I can't remember exactly. So that we take a look at it. The good thing is we have agreed that this is a good law or this is a good act. And we need to look at it so that we can get the best out of it, even though perfection is near impossible. That is one. So our doors are open. I have some observations now that I realized only after the Nigerians cried out for this because of this law, thinking that they are the ones that will bear the burden. And as I clearly said, I will not be part of any law that will increase the burden on Nigerians, considering the situation we find ourselves or the Nigerians find themselves. I think that should answer that. And I'm looking forward to your observation or amendment or recommendation for amendment in the near future. But I want to also add quickly that you will not come out again and, because if this input is taken, we will try to see we pass the law so fast so that we will start implementing it. You are used to coming out to say, oh, the senators are in hurry. They just brought the law yesterday, and by next day they have signed it into all that, or diverting attention from the real matter. I hope that Nigerians will take this opportunity, the labor, everybody, because this law is not for senators only. We make the laws as your representative, but you have the responsibility of giving us the right input and right information so that we will have the right and the correct law out there. Having said that, I go to your second question about the performance of the administration. Well, if I commend the government, you say, oh, because he's a big APC man. But the truth about it is, and I always remind Nigerians, that the president came in with the zeal and anxiety of making effective change and having Nigerians to see a renewed hope. That is his main agenda. And that's why I was not surprised when he, on the first day of after his swearing in, he removed the subsidy, announced the removal of the subsidy, even though he confessed it was not part of his speech. And that was because the man has the ability to take bold decisions. But, you know, such decisions that are critical comes with some pain. That is where this snag was. We have to, there would have been a better plan as to accommodate the effect of the removal of the oil subsidy, for example. So Nigerians are going through a very difficult situation, and coincidentally, prices of commodities went up because of the attached to our dollar, our naira value that jumped up to 1,000, getting to 2,000 naira per dollar. But to be honest, this government is making, or the president specifically, is taking bold steps that are necessary. The other thing is to improve on cushioning the effect of the bold and needed decisions or policies that the government is putting in place in order to bring the economy, improve the situation, and also improve on the welfare of Nigerians. So far, it's only 1 year. I said there is a good start, and Nigerians should cooperate and be patient with the government so that all these corrective measures can be taken, and all suggestions to improve our economy, improve our security, improve the welfare of citizens will be effective. You can see that the president, when Labour were crying out for increase in salary, he immediately directed that the Labour should be paid 35,000, I think, flat rate before the negotiation goes on, is completed. But the problem is the negotiation between Labour and the government institution is dragging too long. If they had come to an agreement on what is going to be the minimum wage, the president said clearly that he's going to be ready to implement it, but it has to be realistic so that you don't have increase in salary and the government doesn't have the resources to be able to pay those salaries.
All right. Well,
so in summary, the government or President Tinubu is doing his best.
All right. Well, like you asked earlier, where was I in 2015 when this law was passed? I was here. We will promise that we will continue to review documents and, have you guys implement it and pass it. But I mean, it is your job as a senator to pass the laws. And would like to thank you very much for joining us on the morning show this morning.
All right, distinguished Senator, I hope that you have enjoyed the beautiful interrogation, shall we say?
No, it's not. No, It was more of interview today, but her own was interrogation anyway.
It was just a question, Senator
you.
Ali.
It was okay.
And you did answer the question, and would like to thank you for answering
Thank you,
that
Senator.
question.
Thank you for
Dean.
speaking with
very
us
much
this
indeed.
morning.
All right.